If you are like most people, the only thing you can think of when someone asks you to name examples of the impossible is that one classic scene from The Princess Bride where Wesley and Buttercup are escaping through the fire swamp, and he tells her to climb up to an overhanging ledge while he holds off the attacking swordsman. If so, then we have some good news. You are right. That was an example of something impossible happening in real life. When we think about how the worst can happen, we are usually thinking about death. Of course, there are many ways to die that are terrible and tragic, but there are also many ways to survive something that seems impossible to live through. Even though you know what to expect in this world, things can always take an unexpected turn, resulting in life-threatening situations. Some people fight the impossible and manage to make it out alive, while others simply give up, accepting their fate. In this video, we will discuss some unbelievable stories of people who survived the impossible and lived to tell the tale, but before do that, please subscribe Unimaginable and hit the bell icon for more updates. When you are faced with near certain death, it can often feel like there is no way out, but sometimes people find a way to overcome impossible odds and survive events that should have killed them. Here are 10 incredible stories of people who survived the impossible, proving that nothing is ever set in stone. Even when all seems lost, miracles happen every day if you just believe they can happen to you. These unbelievable stories of people who survived the impossible will inspire you with the possibility that things can work out if you are willing to fight. Number 10 to 11-year-old girl survives plane crash into the jungle. Chilean was the sole survivor of LANSA Flight 508, which broke up over the Peruvian rainforest on December 24, 1971, after encountering a thunderstorm over the Amazon jungle. The crash killed all 90 passengers and crew on board, but Kopke miraculously survived the impact and was able to hike through the dense forest to a nearby river. She was eventually rescued by lumberjacks who heard her cries for help. At age 23, she published her memoirs Als ik vom Himmel viel, When I Fell from the Sky. Her story is considered one of the most miraculous tales of survival. Number 9. Aron Ralston. In 2003, Aron Ralston was hiking alone in Blue John Canyon when he dislodged a boulder that fell onto his right hand and pinned him against a wall. He had no water or food and knew he would not survive long without them. After 5 days, he decided to amputate his arm to free himself. It took him another 5 days to get out of Blue John Canyon and find help. After surgery, doctors were able to save his arm. He wrote about his experience in a book called Between a Rock and a Hard Place that was later turned into an Oscar-nominated movie called 127 Hours, starring James Franco as Aron Ralston. Number 8. Running 22 miles in an Arctic blizzard. No way should a person survive running 22 miles in an Arctic blizzard, but one man did. How? It was pure willpower and his deep desire to survive. After being forced to jump off his snowmobile due to a mechanical problem, Aron Ralston found himself alone in an Arctic blizzard that would kill most people within minutes. As he trudged through whiteout conditions, he hallucinated and developed frostbite on both feet and hands. He knew that any second could be his last, so he fell face down on a snowbank, closed his eyes, and waited for death to take him away. Miraculously, Eric survived, and today he has written a book about it. On Thin Ice, an epic final quest into the melting Arctic. In it, Eric shares his personal story and explains how anyone can use willpower to survive anything, even if they are stranded in Antarctica without food or water. Number 7. The Chilean mining accident. On August 5, 2010, 33 Chilean miners were trapped inside a tunnel more than 2,300 feet underground when a collapse cut off access to fresh air and water and threatened to trap them underground. They spent 69 days underground until they were rescued in an operation that cost $20 million and involved 1,000 people above ground. In an astonishing rescue operation captured live on television by news helicopters overhead, all miners survived their entrapment, an accomplishment many officials said was impossible. We are living in a historic moment, Chilean President Sebastián Piñera told reporters at a press conference hours after hearing from drillers who had reached the miners. I feel enormously moved. I do not have words to describe what I am feeling now. Number 6. The Lost Boys of Sudan. The Lost Boys of Sudan are a group of refugees who fled from their homes in southern Sudan after being forced to fight in civil wars and attacks against civilians by the northern Sudanese government. More than 20,000 boys escaped on foot hundreds of miles to refugee camps in Ethiopia and Kenya between 1987 and 1991. They lived for many years before being relocated to other countries like Australia, Canada, Denmark, Germany, and the United States. Many of these boys have become successful adults with careers as doctors, lawyers, professors, and engineers. Most remarkable about their survival is that they did it without adult supervision. Most were between 11 and 18 years old. The story of one such boy is well known because he was able to track down many of his friends in 2005 for an amazing reunion. John Buldaw was 15 when he became separated from his family during an attack on his village. He was shot twice while fleeing into neighboring Uganda, where he found help at a hospital operated by missionaries when he went to live at Kakuma refugee camp in northwest Kenya. Number 5. The Shipwrecked Fisherman. Jose Salvador Alvarenga was a fisherman who lived in El Salvador but decided to take his boat out for one last trip before retirement. However, he got caught in a storm and was washed overboard. Alvarenga survived on fish and turtles for 14 months before being rescued off the coast of Mexico by fishermen. He was later reunited with his family back home after being cast adrift in late 2012 with a friend who died. His ordeal eventually ended when he washed ashore on Ibon Atoll in 2014. In total, he traveled 6,500 miles across several oceans and survived off seagulls and fish that washed up on shore. More incredible, Alvarenga had neither fishing nor sailing experience before his trip out to sea with his friend, but he reportedly did know how to build small boats from scratch. Amazingly, Alvarenga lived through storms and even two tsunamis during his time at sea. He also lost most of his fingers to frostbite, but is now recovering physically and mentally. "I feel so happy," he told reporters after landing back on land in March 2014. Number 4. Surfing over a great white shark. It is one thing to be attacked by a shark. It is another to surf over one. Californian Mike Coots, who lost his arm in a shark attack at age 13, was bitten on his left leg and shoulder by a 10-foot great white while surfing at Muriwai Beach in New Zealand, and he says he rode over it like it was an ocean wave. "It felt like getting hit with a baseball bat, but I was not worried about dying," Coots told reporters after being rescued from shore by friends. "I thought it had just knocked me out of my board." He said he did not even realize what happened until after his friends pulled him onto shore and started treating him for injuries. "I am so stoked that I got bit twice because now I can say I have been bit twice by sharks," he added. When asked if he plans to return to the water, Coots responded, "Hell yeah, this will make me respect them more and give them more space. And if I see any fins, I am going straight back in." According to USA Today, during his first 2 years as a swimmer, Coots swam through 5 seals, harbor seals, and porpoises, and has been attacked 7 times by different species. "Not only have I been bit several times, but also eaten up once," he said, referring to damage inflicted on both legs from multiple shark bites. "I wonder how many people get bitten daily by things bigger than them. The number must be staggering." Number 3. Falling from 25,000 feet without dying. In June 2013, skydiver Luke Akins became the first person to jump from 25,000 feet and land without a parachute, landing safely in a 100 by 100 feet net on top of a huge air-filled cushioned airbag. Akins is no amateur. He holds 8 world records for skydiving. This epic dive took 11 and a half years to plan, required an army of professionals. No one had ever tried anything like what we were attempting before, so there was no playbook on how to pull it off. But we knew if we could put together a team of people who could handle each part of the project, then maybe together we could achieve something that would be truly unique. I decided early on that I wanted to have my friends involved in every step of planning and execution, because I believed their creativity would help us figure out solutions when things got tough. We spent months studying different ways to create a giant safe zone using parachutes and giant nets. We studied weather patterns and wind speeds, and even designed special computer models to test our ideas. Eventually, we realized that our best bet was to build an enormous net suspended by helium balloons high above the Earth's surface, where I would free fall until I reached a terminal velocity of 120 miles per hour. At that point, my body would relax into a stable position and allow me time to control my fall toward the Earth, where another group of experts with parachutes was waiting on standby below me. It was not until 2 days before our scheduled attempt that everything came together. Number 2. Man survives being hit by lightning 7 times. Roy Sullivan was struck by lightning 7 times over 35 years while working as a park ranger in Shenandoah National Park in Virginia. One strike sent a bolt down his arm, threw him 20 feet across his front porch, and blew out all but 2 teeth from his upper jaw. Another strike burned all but 2 fingers off his left hand, protected by metal gloves. Another blast knocked him unconscious for 14 hours. Even after being struck 7 times by lightning, Roy Sullivan lived to be 76 years old before passing away from stomach cancer in 1983, making him one of only 3 documented cases where someone has been struck by lightning 7 times and lived to tell about it. It is said that when Sullivan died, he had more than 600 scars on his body caused by all those strikes with lightning. After each strike, he claimed he heard voices calling him Roy, Roy. However, he always said no when asked if he believed in God. Number 1. The miracle on the Hudson. After his plane struck a flock of geese and lost both engines, Captain Chesley Sullenberger was forced to land his Airbus A320 in New York Hudson River. All 155 people on board survived, including Sullenberger, who was hailed as a hero for saving everyone on the flight. However, it was not easy. The water landing created a massive splash that drenched passengers and flooded parts of the cabin. But even though he knew that passengers would be wet, Sullenberger wanted them to remain calm. So he told them they had nothing to worry about because the aircraft was equipped with flotation devices. It turned out he was right. As soon as Flight 1549 hit the water, its wings popped up like flippers and began providing lift so that most of its passengers could stay above water until rescue arrived. And while there are many reasons why everyone made it out alive, including luck, it is worth noting that the ability of Sullenberger to keep his cool saved lives too. However, he said it was not him that saved those passengers, it was the grace of God. He told reporters, "We have always had a saying in our family that there is no such thing as an unimportant day. It is an incredible story, but it is not an isolated one. There are plenty of other instances where individuals have miraculously made it through disasters that would kill almost anyone." Well, this is the end of the video. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure you like the video and subscribe this channel. See you next time.